Good morning to all the REACH kids. Today we're looking at solving equations. So what I have done is I have looked up the problems from yesterday that I gave you, the problem sheet. So the first side says, what problem did the dumb gangster have when the boss told him to blow up a car? I'm going to look at question number 4. This is number 4. So if you want to check your work. The reason I chose this one is because I see this minus in front of the 4. So we need to remember that even though it's a minus right now, it's actually attached to this 4. So when we undo it, it's going to be at the step when we divide. So before we get there, what I want to remind you of is that we need to get d by itself, or whatever the variable happens to be, in this case d. So to get d by itself, we need to undo all the stuff that's happening around the d. So I need to get rid of this 3. And there's no sign out front, so we assume it's a plus. So we need to get rid of a plus 3, and then we need to get rid of this 4 in front of the d, or minus 4 in front of the d. So to get rid of a plus 3, I need to subtract 3 from both sides. I'm just going to write that under here real little. There we are. So simplifying the next line, the 3 minus the 3 right here makes 0. So I'm just left with minus 4d. On the right side, I have 13 minus 3, which is 10. Now I'm going to ask myself, how do I get rid of the minus 4 that's in front of the d? I have to think about what operation is happening in between here. And we don't show multiplication at this point, but we know it is multiplication, kind of like a tiny microscopic times sign in there. So to undo the multiplication that's happening between the minus 4 and the d, we need to divide by the minus 4. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to divide both sides by minus 4. Simplifying that, the minus 4 divided by minus 4 is 1, which is what we want. We want 1d. And we can write that as just d. And then the answer would be, how many times does that go in? So it's negative 2 and 2/4. And if we want to simplify that further, it's negative 2 and 1/2. So the answer then is d equals negative 2 and 1/2. From the same page, I'm looking at number 15. It looks kind of complicated, a little messy, but if we simplify each side and then solve the equation, it's not so bad. So looking here, I have a 4e, take away 3 e's, take away 2 e's. So I end up with, if I simplify all of that, I end up with negative 1e. On the right side, I have 1 minus 9, which is negative 8. And now it becomes a one-step equation, and I need to multiply right now it's negative 1 times e, so I need to divide by negative 1 on both sides to find out what e is. So I'm using reverse operations to figure out answers. So negative 8 divided by negative 1 is positive 8. So e equals 8. Alright, so I turned over the page to what did Bonzo say when he saw the ivy-colored walls of the Ivy League College. And I'm looking at number 15. Again, the goal is to get the n by itself. So I need to get rid of everything that's happening around the n. And this equal sign reminds us that it's like a balance, so we need to make sure that whatever we do here on the left side, we need to also do to the right side. When I'm eliminating things around the n, I have to consider using bedmiss, but going backwards, so reverse operations. So I'm going to get rid of the 6, and then the 7 or the 9, and then I'll be done getting the n. So the first thing I'm going to do is, this is positive 6, because we look at the sign in front. Alright, so what I'm going to do then is subtract 6 from both sides, because that was a positive 6, and so I need to subtract that from both sides. So simplifying the next line, the 6 minus the 6 goes away, and I'm left with 9 over 7n equals 18. Now I know that fractions concern you, and this is 9 over 7, but we also know that this fraction is the same as saying 9 divided by 7. So if I want to work on those, and considering it as 9 divided by 7 instead of just 9/7, then I know that I need to get rid of a divide by 7 in order to get n by itself. So I'm going to get rid of this divide by 7, and in order to get rid of a divide by 7, I need to multiply both sides by 7. So I'm going to put brackets around this and multiply both sides by 7, because that's what's in the denominator and I want to get rid of it. So 7 divided by 7 gives me a 1, which is great. So now this is 9n equals 18 times 7. So 18 times 7 is 126. Now again, we are trying to get the n by itself. That is the goal. And right now we have 9 times n. So to get rid of a 9 times n, we're going to divide by n, keeping in mind that we need to do it to both sides. So then 9 divided by 9 gives 1n, and 126 divided by 9 is 14. So the answer for number 15 is 14. N equals 14. Good luck with the rest of your work. See you on Monday.